My name is Amy Archer, and I am currently completing my specialist degree in instructional technology at Kennesaw State University. The title of my capstone is Implementing Mobile Device-Geared Lessons in the Classroom. I teach 8th grade advanced physical science at Cartersville Middle School. Everyone was interested, and many were very excited about the increased structured use of mobile devices in the classroom. Bring Your Own Device had been in place for 2 years, and the students were still not using their devices for actual learning. Many teachers still felt that the use of student mobile devices in the classroom would make it difficult to maintain classroom management. The goal of this project was to help all content teachers at the school learn how to successfully implement technology in their lessons and utilize students' own mobile devices while maintaining a managed classroom environment. The plan for this capstone was to introduce 3 mobile applications teachers could use when implementing a more technology-geared lesson. The project was based on 3 mobile applications learned during this program. They were free and considered user-friendly and applicable for all content subjects. The applications were Evernote, Socrative, and Cahoots. The Technology Committee recommended the introduction of a Wired Wednesday program. Faculty surveys were not needed since each content area had a representative on the Technology Committee. Twice a month, teachers would have the opportunity to learn how to use one of the applications in their classes. How to use instructions were given out at these meetings, as well as weekly faculty meetings and professional learning communities. The first meeting each month focused on how to set up and use the application, while the second meeting would then allow teachers time to discuss possible uses in a class lesson. At the end of each month, the Technology Committee would meet to discuss what technology was being used, and if teachers were using the mobile applications taught during the Wired Wednesday program. If they were not being used, teacher interviews were conducted to determine why. When interviewed, the teachers that had not used the applications stated that they either needed more training on the application and its specific use in the lesson, or they were concerned about classroom management and making sure that students were actually working and not just playing on their phones. Instructional coaches were also able to see an increase in the use of mobile devices in classroom lesson plans of teachers utilizing the program. The Technology Committee agreed that the project's 3 mobile applications, Evernote, Socrative, and Kahoot, would be beneficial for all students. The Wired Wednesday program was scheduled for 2 Wednesdays a month. Teachers were given the opportunity to come to one or both in order to learn how to use the chosen application in their classes. Even though teachers were given multiple days to attend the workshop, few teachers took advantage of the extra help. The school system had replaced media specialists with media interns, and the BYOD paperwork, which would have been collected and stored by the media specialist, is now being handled under media intern roles and responsibilities. This oversight and paperwork is being looked at going forward. Some teachers were still unsure about the use of mobile devices without a clear understanding of the BYOD policy. Whereas this should have fallen under the responsibility of the Technology Committee, a change in our administration in late February made this difficult to clear up. Professional learning committees were much more successful implementing changes in how technology was used and documented in weekly lesson plans. Individual content teachers were able to discuss particular applications and how it could be used to engage students and gear their lessons toward a more technology-friendly format. None of the teachers chose to use the Evernote application, while the 7th grade teachers chose to use the Socrative and the 8th grade teachers chose to use the Kahoot application more frequently. Observations showed that once a department in a particular grade had success with a particular application, the other content areas in that grade were willing to try the application as well. The 7th grade teachers first used Socrative to do an end-of-the-lesson test to determine if students needed to be retaught content. Once they showed success on an end-of-unit test, as well as student engagement, the 7th grade science teachers decided to give it a try. They too found students engaged, focused, and data from Socrative easy to disaggregate. As more teachers used the application in their lessons, students could talk about their positive experiences that then made other teachers want to use the application as well. The 8th grade science department was the first to use the application Cahoots to engage students during content review. Once these teachers began to make and use their own Kahoot questions for lessons and remediation, students began to see the application as a learning tool and not just a review format. The science department then shared this success with the social studies department, who then began to use it as well. From there, the language arts teachers began to see how it could be used to reinforce book themes and vocabulary content. When students realized that most of their teachers were using the same applications, they began to bring their mobile devices to class and ask to use them for learning rather than simply looking up information. All lesson plans were turned into instructional coaches for compliance with school standards for content and technology use. Instructional coaches created drop boxes for each content area, but not all teachers used the technology to exchange information and ideas. Research has shown that students that are more actively involved in the learning experience are more likely to stay engaged and succeed in school in general when using mobile devices. Once teachers were made aware of how to use the mobile applications, they were able to integrate them into their lesson plans to maintain student engagement. However, simply understanding how to use them did not ensure the application would be used. 57% of middle school students and 55% of high school students reported that the greatest obstacle to technology use in their school was that they were not able to use their own personal devices. Teachers were given the opportunity to learn how to implement Evernote, but the teachers did not find the application useful for them or their content. So even though a teacher may know the application, if they don't feel it adds to their classroom lessons, they will not use it. The Talkative application had many uses in all content areas. Teachers and students were excited to learn how to use the application. Teachers began to talk to others about how they had used it, and this made other teachers want to use it too. Many of the teachers used Talkative to administer assessments for either weekly lessons or units. The 7th grade science teachers used their Talkative assessment data to rank and recommend students for advanced placement courses for the coming year. Many of the teachers in the school created their own Kahoot account. It was the 8th grade teachers that first began to make their own Kahoot homepages and quizzes and share them with other teachers. It was this excitement from both the teachers and the students that made this project successful. Teachers need to continue to include meaningful, standard-based, engaging activities in their daily lesson plans to utilize the age-appropriate technology our students currently have on their mobile devices.